Ladies and gentlemen, I am Darth Microtransaction, and today I'm going to be teaching you a lot of little-known tricks that will absolutely get you free resources in this game. Now, this is not a trick or a scam. This is legitimate, and I need you guys to see this for a fact starting from the beginning. So I want to show you that I know some coding in this game, and I can guarantee myself a legendary character out of just one shard if I want to, just to prove to you I know what I'm doing in this video. Now, okay, let's cut that. Hey, let's go. Now, as we all know, Raid Shadow Legends is expensive, and if you pull a character you don't want, the best way to get a character you do want is by spending money. But if you don't have money to spend, how are you supposed to play the game? So what I've actually done today is gone out of my way to spend my time, effort, energy, and thought process on figuring out ways for you at home to increase your resource income in this game. And if I'm being bluntly honest, this is a hard list for me to have figured out. So please do leave a comment saying thank you so much for your 900 IQ and subscribe to the channel now to reward me for my brain power. With that being said, I really don't want to delay this much longer, so let's get into my home run out of the park. Brilliant idea to start with, that way you don't have to wait. Now, during this economic times, it is rough to come up with 300 ancient shards per month, but this method will guarantee you 300 ancient shards per month, and all you have to do is learn to do with slightly less blood plasma in your body. That's right, you can donate up to $300 worth of plasma each month. Now, an ancient shard's worth about $1, so if you do correct and smart purchasing, that is a ton of ancient shards every month. Now, granted, there's a few small caveats to this. You may feel slightly weaker, but I guarantee you, in-game, you're going to be much stronger. Personally, what really works best for me on this one is I get myself some of these men's multivitamins, right? You get some of these because admittedly, you feel a little sluggish. So I like to eat a little extra vitamins. I'm sure it balances out all the medical science. Now, option number 2 is a little bit more variable for the person because as it stands, not everybody is going to own a pet. However, if you do own a pet, it does depend on which pet you own to how frequently you can get them pregnant, and they do need to not be fixed for this to work. Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of suckers out there that normally want something furry to help cure their depression and loneliness. So what you can do is you can use your furry creature to generate extra furry creatures, which generate shards. Now, if you end up looking into it, I think the math is somewhere around 180 shards per month when you break it down. It really depends upon the litter. But as it stands in game, this is probably my number 2 method. I would still prefer the lean with the plasma. As a quick footnote, this does actually work with spouses of the female variety. However, it's a 9-month payout cycle, and from what I've seen, unfortunately, the wear and tear on the product can be quite high. Now, occasionally, the game itself does give you compensation. Very rarely, they're going to have some kind of server lag issue. I've heard about it. I haven't witnessed it myself. When it does happen, they're going to pay out some energy. I think it's much better to be proactive with my methods than being reactive by waiting for freebies. Another method is by trying to become an official content creator for Plarium. However, if you do become one, keep in mind you're going to sign an NDA, and most likely, if you mention your favorite flavor of Doritos, you're probably going to get sued. But God bless America, where everything, including our elections, are decided with lawsuits. Another pretty solid idea is if you make a shell company, and no, we're not going to pay off Stormy Daniels. What we're actually going to be doing here is making a shell company to apply a business loan. This business loan will allow us to spend all of it on mobile games. And we'll worry about how to pay the business loan off later if there is in fact still a bank to pay it. Otherwise, your crippling debt will inflict self-depression, and that will solve the problem either way. This new screen you're looking at right here is a representation of how your bank account should look after completely optimizing your Raid account. Jokes aside, I want to talk about a topic with you guys real quick, which is the fact of gachas, gambling, and addiction. Now, me and every other content creator has the built-in self-excuse of talking about the fact that we have tax write-offs and it's our business. This is true. We spend money on these games, and though we spend money on these games, that does not mean that we are 100% showing what you should be doing. If you see us opening Shards in Raid Shadow Legends, if you see me on Genshin Impact welling out to get Master Diluc, if you see other content creators spending thousands of dollars, this is the abnormality in life. This is not a representation of what we believe the game's normal community should do. I didn't even think this was ever going to be a point I would ever need to state due to the most obvious dry humor and sarcasm on this channel. However, in my time in other games and with other communities that have seen my channel, I've realized that with all things public relations, at some point you have to come out and explicitly state things that should be obvious. And in this scenario, I would like to say, at least for myself, please do not spend more money on Raid Shadow Legends or any gacha game than you can realistically afford. And if you're currently doing that, and you're a fan of mine, this is me as Darth Microtransaction saying it's not worth it. I've only done it because I could afford to do it. And to be honest with you, I couldn't even afford to do it all of the time. A lot of the money you've seen me spend on Raid Shadow Legends, as well as other games, have been flat donations from viewers like you guys. I mean, a lot of the time, I'm not even spending my own money, or I'm opening Shards on other people's accounts. So if you're trying to live up to sort of the Facebook, Instagram world of people showing you their highlights in life and thinking that's what mobile gaming is, it's not. The rough experience you're experiencing where you don't pull very much, where you're having to grind through things, where you're frustrated, this is the experience in every gacha game, and it is engineered to be this way. The reason it's engineered to be this way is the more frustrated you become, the quicker you will decide to spend money to alleviate that frustration. And for this reason, I am telling you, the best way to play any mobile gacha game from the beginning is realize the games are designed to make you frustrated, and fight that frustration with instead realizing the frustration is in fact the source of your joy. When you play a game and it is difficult to acquire something, it is difficult to acquire a character, that will heighten your sense of achievement and your sense of dopamine drop when something arrives. For me, spending $16,000 on Raid, at no point during that $16,000 did I even feel remotely close to the dopamine drop I got when I pulled Diluc. And he was one of the last characters I ever pulled at around $1,500 on Genshin Impact. For this reason, I can tell you for a fact from somebody who does dopamine for a living, dopamine and loving opening stuff and collecting, the joy of that is subjective, and therefore you need to anchor your expectations in order to realistically set the expectations in games that are toxic to begin with.